Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller-Johnson, and I conduct work-life video interviews with career professionals that become an all-intuitive conversation. Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller-Johnson, and I encourage individuals to live smart and ascend to new levels of work-life success. And so today I have the pleasure of connecting with Mike for the first time. And as we're conversing, I'll be shuffling some various cards in order to encourage our conversation to ascend to new levels. At the same time, as though I'm talking to Mike, you may find I am also talking to you. So I just say be encouraged and enjoy the ride. Let's bring Mike to the screen. Aloha, all right. How are you?
Aloha. Thanks for having me. It's great to be with you.
Thank you for being open to having an all intuitive conversation with me. So today is the first time that you and I are meeting. So I have the pleasure of connecting and getting to know you a little bit better. So thank you for that. So what I do know about you from your LinkedIn profile and your banner, it says that you are a college dean turned career executive coach. Tell me a little bit about your journey as a college dean, including what did you teach?
Yeah. Well, to make a really long story short, I was working in higher education administration for about 16 years and I worked at some really great schools and got some really cool and amazing opportunities, but kind of felt that pull to like want to do something a little bit different to help and serve in different ways in different capacities. So I ended up launching essentially my first business, my first like real business, right? And doing a little bit of a combination of like coaching and then consulting. So helping with like career placement stuff and like people sort of building their personal brand kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then also doing a little bit of like the thing that I was doing before as well. So it's been really fun, been like an awesome adventure. But I was really like pulled into this show because I thought that in terms of like our broader purpose of helping people sort of figure out how they want to serve and how they can leverage the sort of more bigger aspects of themselves and the things that are deeper. I saw what you were doing and I was like, this is really cool and a totally different way of thinking about it than what I do. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, it is a little different. And your spirit, of course, has already came out here. So I have the King of Wands. And of course, it is reminding of you. Just this gentleman, dark hair, sitting on this throne. But here's what the card says: motivational, inspiring, theatrical, ambitious. Take a leadership role. Step into the spotlight. Public speaking. Keep your eyes on the big picture. Communicate your vision. Don't be sensitive to criticism. So with that, like I said, you were talking and teaching and encouraging individuals, but then you decided to take more of this coaching and inspiring role. So tell me about that moment when you had that conversation with someone that said you really are going to release your college dean job and become a coach. Tell me
Yeah,
about that moment.
I will. So I'll never forget this because it was actually like a really good friend of mine. I think somebody that
Mm-hmm.
has like my interest at heart. But his exact words were, "Are you crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Are you out of your mind? What you're doing? You've worked so long and for so hard to get here, and you've pushed and you've like done these different things. I've watched you grow. I've watched you struggle, and you're in this highest leverage position.
Right.
Essentially, I was promoted from the role I was in to like the number three at the school I was working with, which wasn't
No.
something I was expecting, but it had happened, and I was just sort of like feeling just more disconnected and not in line with like, is this really what I want to do? Is this like really
Mm-hmm.
helping people as much as I thought it was, or am I like really just kind of a cog in this broader wheel thing that I'm in? So I was just feeling that I could have a bigger impact and maybe sort of serve in different ways. Um, and I started this journey of really sort of doing what I'd done with many, many students, which is just sort of like helping them find and connect with things that bring meaning, that bring joy, and that add value to others people's lives. And
Mm-hmm.
the more I really sort of like leaned into that and leaned into that discomfort and sort of like started to build, the more I really sort of said like, okay, you know what, I think I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can find something that's a little bit of a better fit.
Well, I love that. Like you said, at the very end here, where it says being sensitive, don't be sensitive to criticism. That's definitely something that could have stopped you. For an audience members that you're viewing this, let us know how you may have had a conversation with someone that you thought like, hey, you're sharing this, and this is what I want to do, and then they may have said something that felt like criticism for you. I know for me, my history has been that that was something I really didn't like, the criticism, because I always felt as though I had to be perfect to do everything right the first time. And so I didn't like the criticism until I tweaked that word to just say, this is just feedback. I can decide, hey, what I want to do with this and what I want to say, thank you. But I release that. So the
That's a
next
huge
part.
mindset shift. Yeah,
Oh,
that's massive,
and
massive.
indeed, because you got three that kind of came out in this sense here, and I want to go ahead and address this one. And talks about the theme of gratitude, and the trigger statement says, "I am overwhelmed." The true statement says, "I'm moving." And so,
Mhm.
just thinking about that, how you moved your career after you did that, did you ever feel overwhelmed?
Yeah, very much. I think it was all that sort of imposter syndrome stuff that
Yes.
I'd like, had maybe shoved down or just compartmentalized to just kind of keep moving through stuff when I found myself in like a area of building a business that I just hadn't actually done before and where
Mm-hmm.
everything was on me. It was like, oh wow, like do I really know what I'm doing? Like, am I qualified to do this? Am I the person that does like all those things, right? Or like all those
Uh-huh.
childhood things about like, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I this? Am I that? That comparison stuff, like all these
Mm-hmm.
things that I thought I'd dealt with and kind of not necessarily gotten over, but had worked through and was aware of, like just surfaced in a way that I hadn't expected.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I saw that
Um,
as a sign, right? To just be like, okay, like I gotta like this is happening for a reason. Like you're feeling uncomfortable. Like you can either ignore it, which is only
mm-hmm.
gonna sort of come and be worse, or you can really sort of face it and work through it.
Yep. So the next one that came out here has a theme of amplify. And when we're in those situations, like you said, you thought it may have been something that you had kind of worked through, but then when you're in a situation, we may realize that some things does become amplified that we may need to continue to work on a little bit, because the trigger statement says, I can't get anything right. And when you're kind of going and transitioning from a, as we say, W-2 to becoming an entrepreneur, like I said, it is a different skill set, I would say, from doing that and having to, like you said, do it all on your own. But it's like you really don't have to do things on your own. And so the next question is coming through is, who helped you on your journey
Yeah.
in that
So
transition?
many people. I find myself just like hopping on calls with like all these people that, nobody that I spoke to had done exactly what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I had friends that had started businesses, or I had family members that had like tried their own thing at one point and it didn't work out.
Yep.
Um, and I had a lot of people that like were sort of in and around, and then I just started to find more, and I just started to say like, hey, I haven't like built this kind of a landing page before. I tried to sort of sell this kind of thing, like, am I doing this right? And the answer more often than not was, well, no, but like you can get better if you do XYZ, right? It was like, okay,
Yes.
great. Right.
Which goes back to don't be sensitive to criticism. Just
Hmm.
holding back and just being open, like, oh, okay, because you could take them like, well, no, this is the way I want to do it, and how I'm gonna, be in and just be in discouragement, which sounds like to me at this time, your solar plexus, your what talks about your confidence. definitely kind of changed. And the theme here is belief. And the true statement that it says is, I am free to believe. You are clearing away beliefs, energy, and memories that no longer serve you, so the necessary decisions will be made. So, with
Mhm.
that, so now that you have this whole coaching business, tell me, what type of coaching are you doing? What is it?
Yeah, so right now I'm doing a combination of essentially just helping people sort of get into new and different jobs and align with things that are a better fit for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing more and more in the sort of personal branding space. So as it's sort of taken up, and I've been able to get a few more clients and get some different opportunities, I've started to expand into like helping people sort of market their own stuff a little bit more.
Mm.
um, and doing a little bit more sort of like content writing, copywriting kind of stuff. And I got one like ghostwriting offer not too long ago, to sort of just be a brand voice for somebody, which was kind of cool. So it started kind of in this sort of space that I had, like that direct experience, and it's sort of expanded into serving and helping people that want to do their own thing a little bit more, which has been a little bit more of what I've been sort of like focused on as of late.
Okay. So the card here is the Four of Coins, and it's this woman that's giving over money in exchange for something else. But the phrase that is standing out here, it says smart business decisions, seeing things as black or white, being charitable. Tell me, how does that relate to your coaching business?
Yeah, can you say that again? That's really interesting. So seeing things as black or white.
Yes. Uh-huh. Smart business decision, seeing things as black or white, being charitable.
Yeah, I think so. I think the statement that really rings true to me there is being charitable, right? Of giving and adding more value than you take away. And just as like a quick example, but there was this woman that I'm working with right now had reached out to me,
Mm-hmm.
um, and was in the similar field that I was in, and was trying to transition out and do different things. And she actually gave me like was willing to pay up front and buy this
Yes.
service that I had. And I was like, okay, great, like this is amazing. But I had actually sort of said, you know what, like let me try this new thing that I'm working on, because I think this will be a better fit for you, and I'm not going to charge you. Um, so like it was essentially I've got like this 5 sessions and then like all this sort of like free stuff that I'm giving her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing that with a few people because I want to essentially like try out what I'm doing and test it and like get a lot of feedback, and just give it away until like frankly I have it dialed in enough that I can like sell it and scale it and all those kind of things. So the be charitable to me like really sort of rang out, because it's like if you give and you give and you give and you give and you just keep giving, then eventually when you ask, like people will have this sort of like broader reciprocity, be like, well, of course, like you've added so much value to me, like of course, like I'll you know
Mm-hmm.
get this offer for you or do different things. So for me that really rang true. The seeing things are black or white, that's something I really have trouble with, right? Like I think there's so
Uh-huh.
much complexity and nuance, and like and the truth is usually this like very 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 layered thing.
Yes. Okay. So this message is for you and then for a viewer as well. What's starting out here is, like I said, the woman giving the money, something for in exchange. And so the statement or the word that's kind of coming through from the team is just saying, when you're doing the smart business decisions and you're running those things, businesses are black and white. They're encouraging you that yes, you can be charitable, but continue to have the confidence and belief that what you're doing is valuable in exchange to receive money. Don't go in the red
Yeah.
in your business so much to where you're just giving, and giving. Now, there may be a level as you are saying, okay, as you're um, exploring new things and doing those different options, you can still say, hey, if you want to give a donation.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay. So like I said, it's going back to this the smart business decisions, being open to as you give, you can also receive. And I understand what you're saying in regards to as you're building up and you want to get the experience, but have the belief and confidence in knowing that what you're providing is worthy of a, as they say, a monetary exchange. And again, the phrase is coming in, just don't let your business go in the red because you're just giving and giving and not feeling as though you are willing to receive.
Yeah.
Um, so the next thing that's kind of coming through is tell me. So with that, what does your business look like a year from now?
Yeah, I think a year from now, I want to get into this space of doing more with, like working in the sort of sector of higher education and
Mm-hmm.
working with colleges and universities a little bit more directly. I've been doing bits of that, and it's been really fun. This one particular gig I had with the foundation was incredible and really amazing, and provided all this opportunity and scholarships and things like that to students that otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to go. So that was really cool. Um, but for me, I think it's expanding that and doing that, but also at the same time, like finding the product of education is like just way too expensive. It's way too layered. It's way too bureaucratic. It's all these different things. And we're in this like incredible age of like amazing information and
Mm-hmm.
like education at people's fingertips and all this kind of stuff that doesn't necessarily have that human element, right? So like for me, like helping places, particularly places that are struggling, like marry the two of like these incredible, amazing teachers and humans that they have that want to help and
Yes.
serve and do all these incredible things, like with like technologies that are quickly emerging. And it's like, how do you sort of bring those two together? And I think there's like real opportunity to do that more.
Yes.
Um, so in a year, I'd like to be like, sitting squarely at those tables, like working with places that are struggling, that know they can be serving their populations better, and doing it in a way that works for all parties and just smarter and better ways.
Yes, love the smarter, of course, as we say, going back to here, smart business
Yes.
decisions. And so I was asking Emmanuel, what is the encouraging word for you and the viewer that is watching? And the card that came out for you and the viewer was action. And notice you have the black and the white horse. And here's what it says, Mike: energizing effort, willingness to work. This card tells you that now is the time for more aggressive forward movement. The galloping horses represent intentional and concentrated action directed toward your goals. This card upright indicates that you're on the right track, but your determined efforts must increase. The white horse is interaction of spirit and thought. The black is the outer work that still needs to be done. So continue taking action and trust your intuition. In time, you'll break through and see the results you've been working so hard to create.
I love that.
So, Mike, thank you so much for coming and having an all intuitive conversation with me. For those individuals that say, yes, I want to come along and join Mike on his journey, how can they reach you?
Yeah, you'll see the website here, theactualizedself.com, the hyphen actualized hyphen self.com. There's some free giveaways on the website. Like there's a free sort of self branding course you can go through, and then some of the things that to sort of bring value and help you sort of step into new careers and new spaces and all of that kind of stuff. So appreciate you having me. This has been really fun.
Absolutely. And the next question is coming through is for you is how can people donate to you?
People donate. I think just signing up to the newsletter is a great way. You'll see what I'm about. You'll see the different spaces
Mhm.
that I work in and serve, and you'll see if I'm a fit. So yeah, please sign up. Please follow. I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn. But yeah, looking forward to serving.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. And thank you for the individuals that have come along this journey as you watched this conversation with Mike. Even though the cards came out during the conversations with Mike, they can also align with you. You may be like, you know what? She felt like she was talking to me. No surprise there. But if you're interested in actually coming on the show and being a guest, reach out to me on LinkedIn messages and say, hey, Felicia, I want to have an all intuitive conversation. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can visit allintuitiveconversation.com and also check out past episodes on YouTube. And until we meet again, this has been an all intuitive conversation. Thank you, Mike.